go.
Michael Addamo, just maybe the best poker player in the world when it comes to running big, aggressive bluffs. But how does he do when he just has a bluff catcher? Let's find out.
Addamo, ace king, Yinan.
Fortunate that it's the suited variety.
And Addamo will like that flop at Henry. Look what lurks behind it.
Pot brewing is
Wow.
And it's not a turn spot where it's easy to find bluff.
Can Addamo find a way out of this one now? I would assume from online, but no confirmation of that. Addamo, ace king. Oh, here we go. Yinan. Can they get involved once more? Up against that one-time chip leader.
Fortunate that it's the suited variety. The flat call does open the door for a squeeze. Wow, Barry's sub 10, by the way.
Yeah. But again, for now, she'll have one eye on that 450k pay jump.
1,978 players entered the $10,000 buy-in World Series of Poker Paradise main event, and they're down to 6 players. It folds around to Michael Addamo in the hijack seat with 30 big blinds with ace of hearts, king of diamonds. He makes it 2 big blinds. Yinan in the cutoff with slightly more chips than him. He has about 35 big blinds. He calls with king, queen of hearts. You may say, shouldn't king, queen suited re-raise a lot? Yes, it's reasonable to 3-bet in this scenario, but you really don't want to 3-bet and then get 4-bet. And if there's ever a player who may be inclined to 4-bet you, both with value hands and bluffs, it's Michael Addamo. So, Yinan very correctly calls. Everyone else folds. Let's go to the flop.
The rest looking to build, and Addamo will like that flop at Henry. Look what lurks behind it.
Yeah, this is pretty wild. Especially when Liv's just sat there on 10 bigs. And Addamo has the ace of hearts. Should another heart roll off. 32 million out there. SPR's around, what, 4.5? Certainly going to be looked to build the pot, get some value. It's a bit frustrating for Addamo now to have this talent on his left, someone that's willing to play post-flop and kind of just push Addamo around a bit.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's not just the talent, but it's the willingness to go for it. So it really is a thorn in the side of Addamo. For now, Yinan, more than happy to continue.
54 million out there, that's more than what's in Liv's stack.
The flop comes ace of diamonds, 10 of hearts, 7 of hearts. Michael Addamo has top pair, top kicker, and the backdoor nut flush draw. Yinan has the king high flush draw and a gut shot. Addamo, continuation bets small. That's certainly reasonable. He goes for the 2 big blind bet. I maybe would go a little bit bigger on this very dynamic flop, but I'm going to presume whatever Addamo does is correct. He goes for 11 million. Yinan then opts to just call with his combo draw. You may say, shouldn't you raise with your combo draw to try to get your opponent to fold out marginal pairs or hands that can keep bluffing you on the turn in the river? And kind of like before the flop, the answer is no. This is a great hand to just call with because you can always continue on the turn pretty much no matter what the card is. So you have to ask, if I do raise here and get re-raised, do I love my spot? And the answer is no, you don't really. Because notice in this scenario, when Addamo bets 11, if Yinan makes it, let's say, 35, Addamo just may rip it in with a hand like ace, queen, ace, king, etc., which is exactly what he has. And you really, really, really do not want that. So this is a great spot to call and proceed to the turn, which is exactly what Yinan does.
Pot brewing is,
wow. Once more, Yinan makes Broadway with a heart draw, Henry.
I don't know if we're just being biased today because we can see the cards, but It feels like a turn card that Addamo could potentially get away from. I mean, Ace Queen being one of the primary hands that we'd want to get value from, right? You could argue a decent amount of the time you're going to hear from Ace Queen pre-flop. So when it comes to hands that we'd be targeting, similarly to the previous hand, a weaker Ace X, like Ace 4, Ace 5, I think would be hearing from in the form of 3-bet pre-flop rather than flat.
Yeah.
So we're losing to Ace 10 and Ace Jack. We're losing to King Queen. We're now losing to Jack 10. We're losing to 8-9 suited, King Queen suited. But we do still beat hands like Queen Jack, King Jack that we want to get some value / protection from.
Yeah, and with the dynamic already established, Addamo is going to go for what we could describe as more of a blocky kind of size here with this one pair.
The turn is a disaster for Michael Addamo. It is the Jack of Diamonds, giving Yinan the straight. The pot is 54 million. Addamo continues value betting. He goes 18 million. This is a little bit risky because a lot of hands get there on the turn, like Ace Jack, Ace 10 was already there, Jack 10, 9-8, King Queen, etc. So this is a scenario where Addamo correctly realizes his hand is not premium. He's not just trying to load money in the pot, but at the same time, it is nice to get value from weaker Ace X or various draws that have not improved to the best hand yet. So Addamo does go 18 million. I think checking would also be pretty reasonable too. Let's see how Yinan responds with the nuts.
It's this 18 to 54 third pot. I mean, in Yinan's shoes, just flat call and pray that the deuce of clubs rolls off. Uh-oh. That looks like a raise to me, James.
45 million, the request. Can Addamo find a way out of this one now, Henry? You've just sort of described to us how hard it is for us to piece together a hand that Yinan could have. I guess the King Jacks, Queen Jacks. But other than that, not many weaker holdings here. Of course, though, the dynamic at play. He just made a big fold the hand before. Or followed to a big bet, I should say, rather than having a big hand. He knows he got bluffed earlier on the final table.
With the nut straight and the redraw to the flush, I would be very tempted to just call in this situation. Because notice, if Yinan does just call the 18 million bet, the pot's going to go up to 90 or so, and Addamo only has 115 remaining in his stack, so you're probably going to be able to get that in on the river. However, Yinan makes a very interesting small raise. He makes it 45 million. Pretty cool play, because now, if Addamo does have a draw, he's going to have to pay to try to draw to it. And if he does have a hand like Ace King, Ace Queen, maybe Ace Jack, Ace 10, a set, whatever, you can now probably get stacks in, either on the turn or the river, very easily. The one big problem with this raise is that it really does, at least in my mind, scream strength. Now, if Yinan has been blasting all over the place, then perhaps it becomes far more reasonable to put in this raise because Addamo's going to think that Yinan is just messing around some chunk of the time. But when most generally straightforward players put in this turn raise, they're going to show you 2 pair or better. And against 2 pair or better, you're getting good odds, but Ace King probably is just a fold. That said, Yinan does go for the raise, 45 million. Let's see what Addamo does.
I honestly think Yinan has cost himself a lot of chips here. It's a very quick raise, and it's not a turn spot where it's easy to find bluffs. I think population would take a little bit more time to just find a creative line with, you know, like, I don't know, let's say King 10 of diamonds, or like say you got like Queen Jack of spades here or King Jack of spades. Are you finding this raise on the turn so quickly?
Right.
I don't know. And again, maybe it's just because I didn't have my Cheerios for breakfast and I'm being a bit results oriented, but I feel like Addamo can get away from this now.
I'm with you. I feel like he might just, even though he's getting bludgeoned by Yinan.
Also, having ace of hearts, king of diamonds helps him a bit. You know, blocking some of the combos that would potentially be semi-bluffing, like a king 10 of diamonds.
He does make the call. And we have a monster on our hands, 144 million.
This is insane. I mean,
Addamo with just 88 behind. Surely, though, Henry, we're calling here to fold rivers? Or are we going to see the elimination of Michael Addamo in 6th place?
After a lot of thought, Addamo decides to make the call. This is a rough spot because when Addamo is behind at the moment, he's going to have outs a large chunk of the time. Notice any queen is going to be a straight, which is good for a chop at least. And against a lot of the value hands, like perhaps ace-jack, ace-10, jack-10, ace-7 suited, Addamo also has way more outs, and he's getting really, really, really good odds. So while this is a scenario where I think against a lot of weak, tight, straightforward players, you may actually want to find a super nitty fold. If your opponent is aggressive, if they are battling, if they know you are aggressive and you like to battle, this is a spot where I think you got to stick around. The question becomes, should you call or should you shove? Because notice if Addamo just calls, he's only going to have 88 million remaining in his stack, and the pot's going to be 144. This may be a scenario where it becomes reasonable to go all in, not because you think you have the best hand every time, but because it's really nice to deny Yinan's equity or force him to put it in with random combo draws where Addamo is ahead. But when you are at a final table, those plays go out the window to some extent because there is a lot of merit in getting off the hook when you do happen to get a very, very nasty river card, or when your opponent decides to not charge you all your money on the river. So, Addamo sticks around. Let's go to the river.
Addamo at this point must be feeling like he's getting pushed around quite a bit by this young Chinese pro.
Concern for Yinan on that card. Addamo, rating to, of course, have aces, jacks, even 10s.
Yeah, what are we losing to now in Addamo's shoes if Yinan had a hand like queen 10 of diamonds, 10-9 of diamonds? We now lose to trip 10s. We're going to have a new chip leader.
The river is the 10 of clubs. Addamo checks. And what I want to know is, what do you think Yinan should do in this situation? Given he now does lose to full houses, which Addamo certainly could have. Do you think he should check it back? Do you think he should bet small, like 30 million? Do you think he should bet medium, like 60 million? Or should he put Addamo all in for 88 million? Take a second, think about it, and let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, click the like and subscribe button for me, please.
Sized it on the turn.
Does Yinan feel compelled to go for this? Again, has to be concerned surely that Addamo's continued with sets and perhaps not many, if any, one-pair hands.
Well, there's only one combo of ace-10 left.
Oh, he's gone for the small bet. I love this.
Aces, one combo of jack-10 left as well. Suited, of course.
Normally, when you only have roughly half pot remaining on the river and you're check to in position, the only size you should use is the all-in size for roughly half pot. However, at the final table, there are sometimes exceptions, especially when you are trying to get called by a very marginal range, and especially if you think your opponent may not run some sort of big bluff on you, or if you don't care if they bluff, you're just going to call it off. In that scenario, maybe it does make sense to go for the small bet to try to induce action that you would not get against an all-in. Now, if Yinan did go all-in this scenario on the river, Addamo is probably going to find a call because of pot odds, although maybe somehow, some way he can get off the hook. But when he's facing the small 30 million bet, I do think he's going to find a call with ace-king and ace-queen a large chunk of the time. But you really, really, really don't want to leave that money on the table when he does have a hand like ace-jack or just decides to call it off with the ace-king. So I would have gone for the all-in in this situation, and that's probably the only bet size I would use, but Yinan doesn't do that. He goes 30 million, and now he gives Addamo the chance to lose 30 million more. Let's see what he does.
This is this is a really sick bet from Yinan. Just a little B20 on the river.
Kind of reminds me of the spot Addamo found himself in last night when he bet small.
With the ace king against
Where
ace
it's like,
king. Yeah.
I know I've kind of got the best hand, but also I might not. This is a huge spot in the terms of the tournament. Going to find a way to bet small. Anyone's guess as to how Addamo proceeds now. And I believe he's out of time cards, Henry.
I agree. I think you're right. Oh, he's flicked it in, James.
And look at this. Yinan getting the absolute max with this hand. And Addamo is down to just 12 big blinds.
Let's go!
Wow. Poker's turned into UFC, James. What's going on?
Can recognize the smart ones. They learn.
Kinda like me, Addamo is a sucker for good pot odds. How often is he good in this scenario? I don't know. The problem is he only needs to be good, what, maybe 1 in 8 or 9 times, even accounting for the payouts. And against someone who is in there battling hard like Yinan, you probably are. Addamo calls. He loses a massive pot. But he lives to fight another day.